Welcome students, welcome to this online video lecture. So this is the third lecture on non-traditional machining process. So this lecture we are going to see about electrical discharge machining part 2. So let's see what are the content of this lecture. First we are going to see about the dielectric fluid. Second, the functions of dielectric fluid. Then the characteristics of dielectric fluid and the tools used in EDM. Then the requirement of tool material. In last lecture, we saw about the introduction of EDM, the principal working of EDM and the setup of the EDM machine. Okay, then the continuation of this EDM topic is the dielectric fluid, functions and characteristics of the dielectric fluid, tools and the requirements of the tool material. Let's see what is dielectric fluid. So a term dielectric fluid is a liquid which acts as an insulator between consecutive spark discharge and as a conductor during the spark discharge. So dielectric, it means the property, it has the property to act as a two property. It means it has to act as an insulator at one time and to act as a conductor at one time. Insulator means it insulates the flow of current. Conductor means it will conduct the flow of current. This dielectric fluid at one time it has to insulate the flow of current, and at the same in another time it has to conduct the flow of current. So this fluid is considered as a dielectric fluid. Normally, the dielectric fluid used is paraffin oil, transformer oil or lubricating oil, kerosene or distilled water. Now let's see the functions of dielectric fluid. First, it should act as an insulator until the required breakdown voltage is attained. Okay. So this breakdown voltage is attained in the capacitance. Once the capacitor until the capacitor attain this breakdown voltage, till that this dielectric fluid should act as an insulator. Once the breakdown voltage is reached, from that point onwards, this dielectric fluid should act as a conductor. So it means once the breakdown voltage is reached, this dielectric fluid has to conduct the current or the electricity. Until the breakdown voltage is attained, this same dielectric fluid should act as an insulator. Third thing, it should clean the spark gap by carrying away the molten metal. So when the machining happens, when the spark erosion happens, the same time the small molten metals present in the gap between the tool and the workpiece. So the one of the function of the dielectric fluid, it should clean the spark gap. It means it should wash away the spark gap wash away the molten metal from the spark gap. The fourth function, it should deionize the spark gap rapidly after the discharge has occurred. Okay, once the discharge has occurred, once the electric spark has occurred, it should deionize the spark gap. The spark gap between the tool and the workpiece. Once the discharge has finished, once the electricity or current discharge has finished or occurred, it should immediately deionize the spark gap. And it should cool the tool, workpiece and the spark region. And this is the main function of the dielectric fluid, because during this electric flow and the spark erosion and the machining process is happening, a high temperature, it means nearly 8000 to 10,000 degrees Celsius temperature will produce in that region. So that one of the main function of the dielectric fluid it should cool the tool, workpiece and the spark region. Let's see what are the characteristics of dielectric fluid. Till now we see the functions, what are the dielectric fluid must do or should do, what is the work. But now we are going to see the what are the characteristics of or behaviors of dielectric fluid. First thing, it should have low viscosity. Okay, it should have very low viscosity so that the dielectric fluid should easy to move. It should be free to move, and it should have high flash point. Once, because if it is having a low flash point means immediately some sparks or fire flash will produce, so that it should have high flash point. It means at a very high temperature only this dielectric will get flash. And it should have controlled level of toxicity. Toxicity means poisonous, so it should have a controlled level of toxicity because humans are intervene in this work. So it should, if it is having a high toxic level means it should spoil the skin, or it should spoil the human observance, so that it should have a controlled level of toxicity. It should have freedom from acid and alkaline products. So this is also one of the main characteristics of the dielectric fluid. That means this dielectric fluid should have freedom from acid and alkaline products. This will be hazardous to the humans. And it should have high dielectric strength, that is, it remain electrically non-conductive until the required breakdown voltage is attained. Yes, this is the one of the important point of the characteristics of dielectric fluid. It means it should have a high dielectric strength. The dielectric strength means it should have a it should be behave as a two electric poles, one to be in the conductive, one to be as a conductor and another one to be as a insulator. So conductor means until it reach the breakdown voltage reaches, it should be act as an insulator. Once the breakdown voltage is attained, it should act as a conductor. And it should be cheap and easily available. The most important thing is it should be cheap and easily available, and it should have high fluidity. And this will be related to the low viscosity. High fluidity means it will be treated as a high, the fluid nature must be high. Now comes to the flushing of the dielectric fluid. So the term flushing is defined as providing a fresh dielectric fluid between the tool and workpiece. So the flushing word terms as flush out. It means send the water from the reservoir or the store tank to forcefully to flush out. Okay, so here the flushing is used to provide the fresh dielectric fluid between the tool and workpiece, because this dielectric only act as an insulator and conductor, and also as to remove the eroded metal piece in between, which is present in between the tools and workpiece, that is the spark gap. Due to successive spark discharge. Successive spark discharge means continuous spark discharge. The metal particles eroded from the tool and workpiece contaminates the dielectric. When the eroded metal particles from the tool and the workpiece, which goes and presents and contaminates in the dielectric. So if it contaminates the dielectric means this contaminated dielectric, that means the metal particles present in the dielectric, which reduces the insulation strength, and hence spark may occur easily. Okay, so this will reduces the insulation strength, so that it will so that the spark will occur easily. So in order to prevent this premature occurrence of discharge, means the discharge will occur as early as possible before the proper time. So Before the proper time this discharge is occur means it is dangerous to the operator and the workpiece. So in order to prevent this premature occurrence of discharge due to the eroded particles, the flushing is necessary. Flushing means it will force the dielectric fluid by force the dielectric fluid using pump, so that the used dielectric fluid is pumped to the filter, and from the filter the fresh dielectric fluid is again going for the circulation. Let's see the various method of flushing. We are having three methods of flushing: injection flushing, side flushing, suction flushing. So see this injection flushing. So dielectric fluid is injected through the hollow tool or hollow workpiece. The same dielectric fluid we can inject through the hollow workpiece. Workpiece means hollow workpiece, or either through the hollow tool. So there is a small hollow we can made inside the tool. Through that hollow we can send or we can flush this dielectric to the spark gap which is between the tool and the workpiece. So this is called the injection flushing. Like injection, how the injection, there is a small hole in the injection that a tip. Likewise we can send. The second thing is the side flushing. The dielectric fluid is flushed from side of the tube. So this side flushing is normally available in the machineries. It means by in the side we are sending the flushing dielectric fluid from the side through a flush tube. And suction flushing, dielectric fluid is sucked either through workpiece or tool. So this is opposite to the injection flushing. Like injection flushing, there is a hollow tool or hollow in the workpiece, hollow in the tool or hollow in the workpiece, so that the dielectric is sucked through it, so that while doing suction the fluid is automatically flowed through this gap and sucked inside the hollow of the tool. Let's see the animation of how this dielectric fluid is used in the real life EDM.
Toolbox, reliable equipment, fast.
Now we are going to see about the tools used in EDM, that is the electrode. Okay, let's see this diagram. This is the workpiece, okay, and this black shows the tool, and this is the overcut. It means there's a small gap, means a spark gap between the tool and the workpiece. So the tool used in EDM is in the form of an electrode. So okay, here it is not just like a cutting tool having a sharp edge, but it is in the form of an electrode. The tool is made slightly undersized for inside machining and oversized for outside machining as shown in figure. So for inside machining means for internal machining operation, you have to reduce the size. Okay, and for the outer side and for the outside machining process, we need to have the oversize the tool. So the tool has reverse profile. That means the mirror image of what is to be produced on the workpiece as shown in the figure. Simply, it's just like a rubber stamp. What you need to be impressed on the paper, that the same image we have imposed in the rubber stamp. Likewise, it has in the reverse profile, mirror image. If you want to have a cone shaped, or if you want to have a rectangle shape or any shape or round shape or any star shape, that shape you have to prepare here, and that shape of electrode you have to be prepared here. Last slide we heard about the reverse profile tool. So the reverse profile tool means what is the image or what is the pattern you want to print in the workpiece. That type of image or dimension the tool profile has to be. For example, this impression or this has to be printed in the workpiece means according to this reverse profile, that is the mirror image of it will be the tool. Likewise here also. So these are all the application of EDM. So these are the tools, electrode tools, which used in these are the model of the electrodes which is used in EDMs. The tool or electrode material is broadly classified into two groups. The two groups are either metallic group or non-metallic group. The metallic group includes materials like copper, brass, aluminum, steel, zinc, tungsten alloy. So these are the metallic groups materials which are used to construct these tools. And the most popular non-metallic material used in EDM is graphite, because it is inexpensive and easily machinable. A graphite electrode with finer grains results in lower tool wear, better surface finish and high metal removal rate. So a graphite having a very good characteristics, having a finer grains, and it also results in lower tool wear, and if you get the better surface finish and high metal removal rate. So let's see what are the requirement of tool materials. So the first thing is it should be a good conductor of electricity. The tool must be a good conductor of electricity, or otherwise no use at all for using this EDM. It should have high thermal conductivity. It must have a high thermal conductivity, and it should be cheap and readily available. So it should have low wear rate. It means low erosion rate. If it is easily high wear rate or easily eroded means each and every time very soon you have to change the tools. It should have low electric resistance, and it should have a good machinability, and it should have a high melting point. So high melting point means at a high temperature only the tool starts to melt, because during this machining process the temperature produces is equal to 8000 to 10,000 degrees Celsius. So the tool must have to withstand this high melting point. Now let's come to the summary. The first thing we saw about in this lecture, we saw about the dielectric fluid. What is a dielectric fluid? Dielectric fluid means it having a two electric properties of having a act as an insulator as well as a conductor. The second thing we saw about the functions of dielectric. What is the use and what is the purpose of this dielectric fluid in this ADM? And the third thing is the characteristics of dielectric fluid, or the behaviors. What are the characteristics and the behaviors of the dielectric fluid? And as well as we saw about the flushing of the dielectric fluid also. And the next thing we saw about tools used in ADM. And the last thing we saw about the requirement of the tool material which is used in the ADM. And this is the reference we used I used for this lecture. Thank you, students. Thank you for watching this lecture. We'll see in the next lecture.